Well, Khazaria was the original Ukraine. That's Ukraine today. And most people who are alive today did not know that it was the Georgia of Russia. And the woman who was behind all of the movement in America, expanding us through the Theosophical Society, which evolved in the eugenics, which became the Georgia Guidestones basis for many reasons. She said she traveled the world and she came to America from Georgia in Russia. And so when Ted Turner put up the money for the Guidestones in Georgia, he said he was doing it because his great grandmother was from Georgia, but it was Georgia of Russia. Now, when King George was the one who actually put the power stronghold in America, Georgia, and in Russia, Georgia, once he got everything established, then they were done with him and he was poisoned. So King George is what the basis of the names are of Georgia in America and Georgia in Russia. But it truly started out as Khazaria, the evil headquarters globally of all of the evil that's been taking over nations from the very beginning.
And this is what I get, the 322 Skull and Bones, Bonesmen, former presidents William Howard Taft, George H.W. Bush, and George W. Bush. Several on the Council of Foreign Relations, former economic advisor of President Obama. And so it goes on and talks about all these families, how they marry one another. Kerry married into the Hines family, Chris Hines. Kerry's stepson joined Hunter Biden and Devon Archer in Rosemont, Seneca Capital, whom established a partnership with the Chinese government's Bank of China. I mean, they're just all connected here. Joe Biden, then VP, and John Kerry, chairman on committees of foreign relations, and the Secretary of State worked together overseas on issues like climate change. There's that word again.
CCP, Khazarian Mafia. Russian Mafia, Khazarian Mafia. Italian Mafia, Khazarian Mafia.
It's all connected.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden, John Kerry, Mitt Romney, Clinton's, Nancy Pelosi, George Soros all have connections to the Ukraine. In summary, 2014, John Kerry visited the Ukraine, offered $1 billion in aid. Shortly after, protesters took over the government, causing the president to flee to Russia, and shortly after, Russia invaded the Ukraine. And so that's where they're talking about these coups that are playing out and more. And it's just one, it's just a mess.
Well, in California, Pelosi's related to Newsom, related to the Browns, and the uncles Newsom and et cetera took over Squaw Valley after the citizens paid for that for the Olympics. They're all related. How are they related? One family, Getty. What did they find under the Getty Museum? The same kind of tunnels they found under the military bases.
Oh.
The families are all doing the same thing everywhere that they're located.
And these folks, it seems, in our eyes, there's a lot of panic. It seems like more and more folks aren't watching the mainstream media like they used to, but there's still those that are brainwashed. And we continue to put this information out and show you. They like to show what they are doing openly to the public. And that brings us back to the Guidestones.
Mm-hmm.
These Guidestones, I just can't believe that they haven't been taken down by anyone. Why are they still there? How do they?
The majority of people don't even know they're there. The majority of people in Georgia didn't know they were there. I've met 8 and 9 generation people. Some people have relatives that came on the Mayflower and don't even know that those Guidestones exist. And the horrible part is the word stones in it, because the word stone in Hebrew, the Aleph is God the Father, the Beta is God the Son, and the noun is feminine for the Holy Spirit. That's why the stones will cry out.
Oh. And that's when Jesus was talking.
And they call it guide stones. Mm-hmm.
And he said, if you don't worship me, I think that's where Jesus was talking about. The very stones will cry out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
On our behalf. That's how much he loves us.
And so the eugenics here that you gave me the slide, you wanted to speak to this also.
It's the counterfeit of the tree of life. Everything they do counters everything that Father has put in position for us.
Here, 1855, ISIS was formed by the Senussi family linked to UK royals, Khazarians. 1861, merged with 322 Skull and Bones, Khazarians. 1870-1930, Big Pharma, Khazarian. I mean, I could go through all these, but it seems like there's a lot that's linked to this thing called Khazarian. Could you go through this with me real quick and help me make sense to it? With all of this, it's confusing to me.
Well, they've eliminated every single rulership everywhere in the world. They've totally taken over the identity of every ruler of every nation. That's why you see all these royals now coming up on charges, is that these were Khazarian families who went in and took over the structure of that nation and ruled that nation as though they were the official rulers, but they were not.
Okay.
They came into America and did the same thing. And I'm just finding out about Hamilton being our first Treasury Secretary. How did he set up a corporate government bank in 1792? That's way before the Federal Reserve. I see the Federal Reserve on here, but they kept expanding it the minute they came to this country. So who is Hamilton that he would come up with this idea and send a report to Congress and say this is what he wants to do? That predates the 1855. They're saying it just starts there, but these are ancient lands and ancient people who are the original people that wanted to control everything, and everything about their lives has been about controlling the other people on the planet.